Hi guys, Keith here from Borneo. Today I'm going to show you how to create your very own Papyrus Avenue in your own home. Take a look. So I'm just gonna grab a couple of things from the shed. We have a little scoop and a saw. I'll show you what I'm gonna do with this later. And I just wanna show you, this is some soil that I have from around the house. So what I actually do with the papyrus, I usually would take whatever soil I have lying around, or I would just buy normal black earth, mix them all together, and it's good to go, because papyrus are pretty hardy, so they don't really need such rich soil. If you do want to enhance the soil with some nutrients, you can always add in your own fertilizer, but at this present moment, this is what I have, and this is what I'm going to use for the repotting. So this is the type of pot that I use for every single papyrus here, and this is actually a plastic pot with holes. So to DIY, I've actually used duct tape. Not the best option, because they will leak after a while. Once the roots grow out, they will push the tape well, pretty much off the pot. So what I've done, I've taped them inside and also at the bottom, but you can also opt for waterproof tape or just get a pot without holes. That would be the best option. So for those of you who don't really know about this Cyperus papyrus plant, they actually need full sun. They are originally from Egypt, and yeah, it's quite a cloudy day today, but usually these would get full sun, and they also grow mostly in water and soil. So that's why I had to kind of tape my pots shut to retain some water. So if you come with me over here, I'll show you what happens when you do tape the pots. It would retain enough water throughout its growth period, but if it does overgrow, the roots, as I mentioned, would poke their way out of the holes, and you get a really dry root ball, just like this one over here, which means you need to top up the water every day, whereas this one could hold water for up to maybe 2 or 3 days, depending on how hot the weather is. Obviously, being in Borneo, it is really humid and it is really hot, and being on tiles, not the best option, but papyrus are pretty hardy, so they would be able to withstand the heat coming from the tiles compared to other plants. So I'm just gonna repot this buddy of mine over here. And okay. Got stuck. Here we go. Please be careful when carrying these, because they can get pretty heavy, as you can see. So get a friend to help you when you do carry it, or definitely use some support on your back for sure. So here we go. Just gonna lay this down for you. The reason why I'm repotting this as well is because this is looking pretty full. So if you come a bit closer here, you can actually see all these new shoots coming out, literally spilling over the pot. So this is pretty easy to take out. Usually it's pretty easy to take out. So you would just grab hold of a few, maybe not so easy after all. Let me try. Okay, there we go. So if you just come a bit closer, I'm going to show you the root ball. So this is looking pretty firm already, mostly roots. There's a bit of soil in here, and it hardly holds water anymore, because I think, as you can see, the roots have gone through the holes. So this particular one, I did not have enough tape for it. And as you can see, the roots have come out at the bottom. So I'm going to show you how to cut it in half. Alright, so remember the saw that I took from the shed earlier on? This is the best tool you can use to actually propagate the papyrus because it's really fibrous, and I've tried all ways to get it cut in half, and I think the saw is the best way forward. And let's just get to it. So you're gonna look for the midpoint. You can even do it from the side if you want to, but there's less chance of it surviving. You would definitely need it to be maybe somewhere through the middle. You will lose shoots, so don't be afraid because these grow pretty fast. I'm a left-hander for any of you wondering, so I'm not sure if it inverts on the camera, but quite a workout. Right, so I just want to show you, if you come close by, it is pretty solid in the inside. It looks quite fibrous over here, but in the inside it is pretty solid. And one interesting fact about the papyrus is that they use the piths inside the papyrus stem. They used to make paper out of this before they used to, before they cut down the trees. So they actually use papyrus before to make paper, which is quite an interesting fact. So yeah, let's get to it. So this is the pot that I grabbed from the shed earlier on. And remember the soil that I said I just got from around the garden? You're gonna wanna put in just maybe 2 or 3 scoops. It's really up to you. Just to line the base. And what I like to do is put in a couple of scoops of, slow release fertilizer. It's also known as Osmocote, or Osmocote, however you say it. Depends on which part of the world you're in. Alright, and what you're gonna do is pretty much just grab this. Yep. Take it like that. Chuck it in. You can, if you want, chop off maybe 1/4 of the roots at the base, but usually I don't recommend it because you would slow down the growth of the papyrus. So what I'm doing today is that I'm just going to cut it in half, plonk it in the pot, top it up with soil, and finish it off with a good bath. Alright, one thing I forgot to mention is you need one of these. Okay, I'm failing miserably. Alright, okay, calm down. This is one of those electrical conduits which you can get from any of the department stores around you. And what my mom and I did, we both painted these because we don't like the white look of it. So we painted them and this one green. So what you would do is just stick it right inside the pot. So usually I would stick it right through the middle, but seeing as this is, let me see. Okay, you know what? It actually made it through. So this would give it a bit more rigidity because this can get quite flimsy at times, and I've had so many issues with these papyrus, which I'll tell you later on about. But first of all, let's just finish the repotting. Okay. Okay. What I would usually do is leave about a few inches from the top, not to fill it completely to the top because you would want the water to stagnate in the pot over the next, couple of months, if possible. So I would say just leave maybe 2 inches from the top empty. All right. And remember this hole that we had over here? What you would do is you will have one up high to hold on to the higher stems. They're not really cooperating with me today. And what you want to do is, cut these off as well. I don't have my pair of handy scissors on me or shears on me right now, so just gonna make do with what I have. And one more at the bottom to hold them in place. You don't want to tie them too tight, just enough to give them support as their roots have been affected and they might start snapping over the next few days due to the shock. Alright, so this is just to help them out initially, and you want to keep them on throughout the whole growth period if possible, because when the winds come they would blow these over or they would snap most of the stems, because in the wild they grow quite densely, so they won't kind of be affected that much. But growing in a home space, you would definitely need extra support. All right, so there we have it. I know most of you want me to cut this off, so let me get my pair of handy shears. I'm just gonna carry this back into its place. All right, and I'm going to top it up with water in a second. What you can do with any of the broken stems, which at times they would break off, you can just cut them and use them as centerpieces in your house or some table decor. That would be amazing. It's gonna rain in a bit, but I'm still gonna show you how to top this up. All right, just give me a second. I'll be back. Alrighty, my trusty hose. Just gonna want to water this down. Wash off any extra dirt on the pot. You can also wash down the pot beforehand, whichever works for you. I like to do everything once it's done. And just keep filling it up until the water stagnates. Should be pretty fast, so bear with me. Okay, so what you want to do is just wait for it to soak up most of the water, and then go back in maybe for a second or third top up. And the initial phase of this would be pretty dirty. Over the next few days, you're gonna get all of this dirt spilling out and dirtying your tiles or wherever you put it. So I would definitely suggest placing it in the garden initially to avoid getting your tiles dirty like I have over here. So I would always recommend just using pots without holes. That would save you all the trouble, because I've already gotten stains, as you can see, from these pots over here. As you can see, they do stain tiles over a period of time. So definitely get pots without the holes. Okay, or if you've done what I've done, you can definitely wash all of this off. Do that a couple of times so most of the sediments have run off. You still will get a bit here and there, but most of it would have already been washed down. All right, and there you have it. Now that we're all done, I'm just going to quickly talk to you guys about some of the pests or wildlife that you might get in your garden. I know not many people like frogs, but I'm not opposed to them, but my mom is definitely not a fan. She's always really worried walking through this avenue in case a frog jumps on her head. They have jumped on me a couple of times, so just be aware that if you have any stagnant water, frogs will definitely find their way here and breed. But one thing that's good about having frogs is that you'll get tadpoles in the water, which would eat any mosquito larvae which may possibly be in the water over time. So if you're really worried about mosquito larvae, definitely get some solution from your local shops and fill it up every week or every 2 weeks, and it should be pretty good to keep you safe. So at the moment, most of the water drains every single day, so I don't have to worry about mosquito larvae. And that's about it. I mean, these are pretty hardy plants and you don't have to worry too much. I mean, full sun, plenty of water, not many pests that would affect them. So yeah, it's a really fast grower. So having to report all of these would be quite a hassle. And yeah, I mean, really, you don't have to do what I've done, but this is just to give you an idea of having an avenue in your home. Just to show you some general maintenance for these papyrus. Sometimes you will get them browning off like this. So you would want to just snip them off midway and then find your way to the bottom, which is here. Oops. And there you go. So that's just a bit of maintenance for your papyrus. So once you've done all your repotting, just as I have, these have been growing here for the past, well, almost a year. But I started off with a really small collection of papyrus and have been propagating them as I've gone along. And I've created this avenue over here to frame something in the distance. I don't have a focal point at the moment, but I do have some beautiful plants in the distance. So I'm going to show it to you, so come along. Alrighty. Nothing much to see, but there are some water willows here and colocasia black magic. They're looking quite pretty, and this is quite a nice big leaf right here. And yeah, so you can really do anything with this. It's quite flexible. You can even widen the space between the papyrus, or you can even shrink it. So it really depends on the experience you want to create for yourself or anyone walking through your avenue. And yeah, so that's all from me. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!